a strike that shocked the Kremlin. In an unprecedented move that has drawn comparisons to the 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor, Ukraine executed a surprise drone assault deep inside Russian territory, one of the boldest operations of the war to date. Dubbed Operation Spill, the mission targeted vital Russian Air Force infrastructure, reportedly destroying or disabling up to 41 aircraft, including strategic bombers and early warning planes. Ukrainian officials describe it as the longest-range strike of the war, dealing a significant blow to Russia's military capacity and morale. The operation has since sparked conversations around the world regarding Ukraine's evolving military capabilities and Russia's apparent vulnerability. Kirch Bridge sabotage, another covert blow. Just hours before journalist Tim Mack, founder of the counteroffensive, discussed the drone operation with reporters, another covert strike was revealed. Ukraine's security service, SBU, announced it had successfully sabotaged the Kirch Bridge, a symbol of Russian annexation, connecting mainland Russia to the occupied Crimean peninsula. The underwater explosion, reportedly equivalent to 1,100 kilograms of TNT, caused significant damage and struck at the heart of Russia's logistical and symbolic power in Crimea. This followed a pattern: covert, high-risk operations designed to destabilize Russian confidence and expose weaknesses in its security. Inside Operation Spill, how Ukraine penetrated Russian defenses. Despite Russia's reputation for having some of the most advanced air defenses in the world, Ukraine's SBU managed to pull off a feat that stunned military observers. Here's how they did it. Smuggling drones by land. Ukrainian drones were secretly transported across the Russian border, concealed inside mobile wooden sheds or modular homes, which were then placed on trucks. These decoy structures were parked in areas near military airfields, sometimes just outside Russian bases. Strategic positioning. The drones weren't launched from Ukraine, but from within Russia itself, using unexpected angles of attack that bypassed Russian radar and early warning systems. Remote launch in disguise. On the day of the operation, the roofs of these mobile units were remotely open. From inside, drones launched into the sky, attacking bombers and other aircraft on the tarmac. After launch, the containers self-destructed, further obscuring evidence and preventing immediate countermeasures. Exploiting local infrastructure for remote control. In a stunning display of modern asymmetric warfare, Ukrainian forces reportedly exploited Russia's own telecommunications infrastructure to launch a deep strike into enemy territory, one of the most daring operations of the war to date. According to investigative journalist Tim Mack, Ukraine's security service, SBU, and military intelligence units are believed to have used Russian SIM cards and local mobile networks to control long-range drones without relying on satellite communications. This clever maneuver offered a significant strategic advantage. Satellite signals, while reliable, can be intercepted, jammed, or tracked by electronic warfare units. By using Russian cellular infrastructure, Ukraine effectively cloaked its drone signals in the ambient noise of civilian telecom activity, rendering detection exponentially more difficult. The drones, in essence, became digital ghosts riding on enemy bandwidth. This operation marks a pivotal moment for the SBU, once viewed as a conventional intelligence agency with limited technological sophistication. Over the past decade, it has transformed into a high-functioning espionage apparatus, capable of pulling off missions that rival those of elite Western intelligence services. Unwitting accomplices and months of planning. The operation's technical brilliance was matched by its meticulous human groundwork. Many of the individuals involved in transporting and assembling the drones, drivers, warehouse workers, and logistics personnel, were likely unaware of their role in the covert mission. The drones were carefully disguised, possibly hidden within shipments labeled as construction supplies, machinery, or other benign goods. This deliberate use of civilian supply chains created plausible deniability and reduced the likelihood of detection. The complexity of the mission required over 18 months of planning, according to SBU sources. Every step, from intelligence gathering and route planning to camouflage and remote piloting, demanded high-level coordination, deception, and discipline. The scale and sophistication of this campaign suggest a hybrid model of warfare where cyber, psychological, and conventional strategies intertwine. It's the kind of methodical, clandestine operation more commonly associated with espionage thrillers than with traditional battlefronts. Strategic impact: Russia's nuclear triad weakened. Perhaps the most shocking aspect of the operation was its impact on Russia's long-range strike capability. Among the damaged or destroyed assets were several Tupolev Tu-95 Bear bombers, iconic relics of Soviet-era military might, still integral to Russia's nuclear deterrence strategy. These aircraft, capable of carrying both nuclear and conventional cruise missiles, represent one pillar of Russia's nuclear triad. Striking 4 separate air bases, Ukrainian drones appear to have either destroyed or severely impaired multiple strategic bombers. This loss doesn't just reduce Russia's long-range combat power, it undermines a key element of its global military posture. It also sends a stark message. Even hardened, high-value military installations deep within Russian territory are no longer untouchable. The geopolitical implications are profound. It challenges Moscow's assumption of strategic depth and raises urgent questions within the Kremlin about the vulnerability of other critical assets. A morale boost for Ukraine. Beyond the tactical gains, the operation delivered an enormous psychological boost to Ukraine. After more than 2 years of grinding warfare, civilian morale had begun to waver. The conflict had devolved into a brutal war of attrition, with front lines shifting slowly and casualties mounting. It reminded Ukrainians and the world that Kyiv is not only capable of defending itself. Memes flooded social media, many depicting President Volodymyr Zelensky holding 4 aces, a symbolic retort to former U.S. President Donald Trump's past claim that Zelensky had no cards left to play. The cultural impact of such symbolic victories cannot be overstated. In a war where progress is often measured in meters, moments like these offer hope and reaffirm the national resolve to endure. Russian retaliation expected. But bold moves rarely come without consequences. Russian officials swiftly condemned the strike, labeling it a terrorist act and vowing retribution. In the days that followed, multiple air raid warnings were issued across Ukraine, including in the capital, Kyiv. Analysts predict a wave of retaliatory missile and drone attacks aimed at Ukrainian cities, energy infrastructure, and possibly even transportation hubs. This tit-for-tat escalation has become a defining rhythm of the war. One side lands a blow, the other responds with force, and the cycle deepens. Such escalations further complicate the already difficult task of finding diplomatic off-ramps. Each successful strike raises the stakes, making compromise more politically dangerous for both sides. Peace talks in Istanbul, a grim outlook. Meanwhile, peace talks in Istanbul continue, but with little hope for meaningful progress. While negotiators have reportedly discussed limited topics such as prisoner exchanges and humanitarian corridors, the broader political rift remains insurmountable for now. Ukraine maintains that it will continue targeting Russian military infrastructure until Moscow halts its aggression and withdraws. For Kyiv, the idea of ceding any more territory, especially after having sacrificed so much to defend it, is politically and morally unacceptable. On the other side, Russia persists in demanding formal recognition of its control over seized territories, including Crimea and parts of eastern Ukraine. Such demands are non-starters for Ukrainian leaders and most of the international community. With both sides entrenched and escalating their capabilities, militarily, technologically, and psychologically, the road to peace appears as distant as ever. A war far from over. Ukraine's deep strike into Russian territory shows not only its growing military sophistication. While the operation lifted spirits across Ukraine and disrupted key Russian assets, it also highlighted the ongoing intensity of the conflict. For now, Ukraine has proven it still has cards to play, both strategically and symbolically. But with Russia preparing its response and no viable peace deal in sight, the war grinds on, more complex and dangerous than ever.